Hey, today we're going to check out the latest minor order, go over news about a brand new Hive world, discuss a known issue. Not only that, we'll check out the latest dispatch about how the Democracy Space Station is actually crumbling. Plus, there's so much more to go over in today's video. Make sure to tap the thumbs up button and the hype button below. Alrighty, Helldivers, let's talk about the Democracy Space Station. It turns out the buff, or rather the upgrade we received just recently for the DSS, is now beginning to crumble before our very eyes. What I mean by that is, the Democracy Space Station is currently being eaten away by the gloom spores. We know this because of the latest High Command message. They had this to say in the bottom right. DSS gloom shielding degrading. The spore resistance polymer shielding the DSS from the gloom is beginning to show early signs of degradation. DSS operation remains unaffected for now, but gloom spores will eventually eat through the polymer and damage the station, should the DSS remain within the gloom for an extended period of time. Well, for some reason, I have a feeling a majority of Helldivers out there are for sure rooting for the Democracy Space Station to ultimately crash and for it to never be seen again. If so, then boy oh boy, you Helldivers might just get your wish. However, I don't think the developers will let it blow up. I think what they'll most likely do is if it remains in the gloom, then it'll temporarily be out of service and we'll have to make repairs to it eventually. That's my best guess. But if the developers let it crash and burn, then that would surprise me. The possibility is, let's say this right here is part of the story. Then perhaps we'll receive more upgrades for it, and that could be the reason why it goes down. That's if it happens. Now, on a different note, it appears that High Command has issued a brand new mine order for all Helldivers. I'm sure a majority of you out there have already seen this, but we'll go over it for those who haven't. Basically, High Command wants us to eliminate 50,000 Hive Lords. The reason is so that we can lower the enemy resistance rate. If you check out the latest dispatch message, they wrote, enemy resistance on Oceone has spiked, precipitated by an unexpectedly high amount of Hive Lords. Sea forces have been devastated. The Helldivers are ordered to kill 50,000 Hive Lords to bring enemy resistance back down. Okay, not a bad minor order at all, yet I'm pretty sure there's a few of you Helldivers out there that have no idea how to deal with a Hive Lord. If so, allow me to give you a few tips that might just help you defeat at least one Hive Lord or more. With that said, I recommend using an Eagle Strafing Run stratagem, mainly due to the fact that the cooldown is short and you can dish out a good amount of damage to the Hive Lord's torso. Secondly, the other stratagem I suggest is the Emancipator Exosuit, and you'll want to aim for the protective armor on the torso. If you can do this successfully, you'll be able to break off the armor plate and expose its weak spot. Next, at number 3, the Gatling Barrage stratagem. When thrown down, it'll continuously inflict damage for 9 seconds. This is enough time to inflict some good damage on the Hive Lord as well. The fourth stratagem is a supply pack because we'll pair it with the Thermite Grenade. We can refill when we need to, and we can use it to break the armor plate on a Hive Lord as well. And that's mainly because we're using the Thermite Grenade, not the supply pack, but you understand. So hopefully that helps, but you know what's not helping? The fact that there's a planet on the galactic map that is turned into a Hive world. The planet I'm referring to is the one and only Zagon Prime. As of right now, you can't see it on the map. However, if you were to head over to the Helldivers Companion app site and click on Zagon Prime, the planet specifically, we'll look at the planet stats, and at the very top it says, this planet is so thoroughly infested that it appears to be a single interconnected terminate hive. Gloom spores originated from somewhere inside this planet. This description can be seen on all Hive World planets. There are currently only 3 planets that have transformed into a Hive World, which are Omicron, Oceone, and of course Zagon Prime. Now, I do have a theory. I thought before that if a planet reached an enemy resistance of 6.00, then it'll turn into a Hive World, yet that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. The reason why is that you can see that Zagon Prime has an enemy resistance of 7.50. Oceone was 7.00 before we sent the DSS there, and then Omicron is 10.00, which, by the way, is the highest enemy resistance on the map currently. In any case, my point is that if a planet on the terminate side reaches 7.00 and it's within the gloom spores, then it'll transform into a Hive world. I will say it'll be interesting to see what you Helldivers think about this theory. If you can, post a message below in the comments and tell me your overall thoughts about everything we just covered, including the minor order and the new dispatch messages. Lastly, for the galactic map news, we do have something exciting here. Well, depending on if you actually like the Rupture Strain, but yeah, they're back. They're specifically back on Oceone. Again, I know a lot of people hate the way I pronounce it, but you know, it is what it is. Regardless of that, here's what High Command had to say. Oceone resistance spike. Terminate activity on Oceone has sharply increased, slowing progress to liberate the Hive world. Analysts believe this increased activity is a collective response to the threat posed by the ongoing offensive. In other words, it is proof that we are winning. Do not relent, the Hive world must be purged. So at this point, you're probably wondering, how the heck do I know the Rupture Strain is back? Well, if we head back over to the Helldivers Companion app site, check out this particular planet right here, and then we can see on the bottom left here, or on the side, it says Rupture Strain. So the Rupture Strain is back. The Dragon Roach is obviously there, and so is the Hive Lord. And then if we go ahead and check out the other planets, this is where things get interesting, because the Rupture Strain has replaced the Predator Strain. As you can tell on Borok, it's been replaced. Same thing on Terek, Crimsica, and Gkrux. Except for the one that's on Nival, that's the Spore Burst Strain. But those 4 planets, or excuse me, these 6 planets right here have the Rupture Strain, even 4E Prime. Moving along, the known issues have been updated by Arrowhead. You can tell that they confirmed there's an issue with the Plas 39, and it seems that they're going to take a look at it and hopefully patch it as soon as possible. If you're unsure what the issue is at the current moment, then I'll show you an example. I actually covered this bug recently, some of you might have seen that video, but we didn't have confirmation from the devs that they knew about it. Nevertheless, the bug is basically a visual bug that can be quite annoying. There have been several posts already where players have showcased images explaining what's going on, as you can see right here. Now, it does suck. It's not a big deal for a lot of you guys out there, but I personally think it'd be nice to see it patched. I use the Plas 39 quite a lot now, considering it can 3-tap a flesh mob. So, yeah, it'll be nice to see it fixed. Next up, what I'd like to do is talk about a different faction, which is the Illuminate, because I think what we're about to go over next is interesting. I think you'll find this intriguing as well. So what you can see right here, I'm on a site called helldivers.wiki.gg, and they basically data mine stuff for different enemies, like their health, you know, are they durable, are the hits fatal, stuff like that, right? Well, this right here, I'd love to know if you knew about this. If you haven't, let me also know about it. But let's go down here and let's check out some legs. So the left upper thigh armor is 600. So that means the left thigh here is 600. But then we go to right and middle upper thigh, it's 900. So the right thigh is 900 and the back or the upper thigh is 900 as well. This doesn't make sense to me. Now, I'm not sure if they're combining both of them together, which that wouldn't make sense. But yeah, I thought this was very interesting. And yeah, it just goes to show that targeting the left side is probably the best idea instead of targeting the right because of how high the health levels are. Now, before I wrap up today's video, I highly suggest watching my video from about 2 days ago. The developers confirmed they're going to do some beta tests, and they're going to allow players to play certain things within a patch file, so check that out. He also goes over so much information, and all the timestamps are there, so definitely check out that video. It's called The Developer Interview Part 2. Check it out. Well, that's pretty much it for today's video. I just want to quickly go over some things. There's no top comments. However, I'd like to know, should I do the top comments again or should I skip on it? Let me know your thoughts. I've been asking lately. Just want a few more opinions on it. And yeah, so with that being said, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a like, and tap the hype button. See you guys in the next one.